Hello and welcome back to my 80s Toy Museum, and today it's a Patreon special missions request courtesy of Michael Choi, longtime supporter of the channel, and we're taking a look at the 1983 G.I. Joe Dragonfly, which got HasLab not too long ago. Pretty amazing 1/6 scale rendition of the Dragonfly attack helicopter. This is the 1/18th, pretty much 1/18th scale. G.I. Joe isn't quite 1/18th, but it's close. Dragonfly with the pilot, Wild Bill. And before we take a look at this plastic toy artistry, let's take a look at some paint toy artistry. I don't have the box for this one, but I do have the box art, thanks to the Art of G.I. Joe. And we're cracking open the Art of G.I. Joe Omnibus hardcover by 3D Joe's. We've got our Bret Hart book to make sure the spine doesn't tear itself apart. And here's the original box art by the late great Hector Garrido for the Dragonfly assault helicopter XH-1. Always with the sci-fi sounding names in those early years. And inside the Dragonfly is Wild Bill in the front, Lieutenant W.S. Hardy, and in behind is the unofficial co-pilot, Airborne. And it's nice that they had their file names on the sides of the ship, even though that kind of ruins the whole secrecy of G.I. Joe, them having code names. And we'll see that on the toy, but the Dragonfly did have its own custom symbol. We saw a few of those when I went through the figures just recently. Some of the guys have special insignias for their vehicles on their arm patches. And then right here it's showing off one of the action features. Slide button mechanism, spins the rotor blades. Not on mine anymore. The button still goes back and forth, but it doesn't do anything for the blades. And then a picture of Wild Bill, and Wild Bill's file card. His file name is William S. Hardy, born in Brady, Texas. Kind of figured he'd be from Texas. And he's actually one of the higher ranking G.I. Joe guys. He's a chief warrant officer. Never really showed it on the cartoon, but there was that trial in G.I. Joe the movie for Lieutenant Falcon. And I believe Wild Bill is on the board of the guys who were handing out Falcon's verdict and sentencing. And here's the toy itself with the Wild Bill figure. Let's take a look at Wild Bill before we get to the chopper. Wearing a green outfit with a blue cavalry hat, and I always like this little detail on the hat. Little design on there. He's got sunglasses, mustache, and he's got a pair of revolvers, giving him a little bit of a Western Wild Bill vibe to him. And are those cowboy boots? They might be. Hard to tell. And the chopper itself, let's get Bill in the chopper first of all before we start playing around. So it's a 2-seater, and canopy opens on it. Yes, it is a Canadian flag on there, right? And a Canadian sticker. I must have gotten this either at a toy show here in Ontario or on eBay from another Canadian. But 2-seater, Bill can go in the front or the back. This one is notoriously cramped, so let's see if I can take a look inside here. There's this this machine gun on the front here, and Bill's feet, or whoever is in the front, need to go like in that well for him to sit in there. If you try to just kind of semi straight leg put him in there, yeah, he goes in there, but looks like the canopy is breaking his neck. So you do have to finagle a little bit. Go in that well in there. It's just barely got enough clearance for his legs to fit in there, and you can stick his arms off to the side to make it look like he's operating some kind of Instrumentation. Bill doesn't have an up and down head like the 85 and beyond figures. So the canopy still, it does hit him. Even with as precise as I'm trying to be with getting his feet in that wheel well, it does hit the hat. So maybe guys who are wearing helmets or don't have any headgear would fit a little bit better. But it's good enough. And the play features, there's a couple on here actually. The big one is the one that's busted on mine and busted on quite a few of these actually. It used to be that you could push this forward and it would make the blade spin. Now luckily the blades on this are fantastic, and because the blades do droop a bit over time, they start to just collapse under their own weight. That this would probably be hitting my hand anyway if I was trying to use it like that. Maybe from underneath. It's just easier to do that, and it's kind of a more common way of spinning chopper blades anyway. Just give them a tap and they go for quite a while. Really nice and smooth assembly there. So that's one of the play features. Another one is it's got a hook underneath, so you can just pull this out and you can have guys like Airborne repel, and so you can just wrap that around someone like Airborne, Helicopter Assault Trooper, try to secure it onto itself, and well, might be better to wrap it around his backpack so that he's not nose diving into the ground. That looks a lot better. Now you can have the Dragonfly transport airborne for rescue or assault missions. And then to spool it back up, just turn this dial and wrap it all up. What does this say? There's a message on the bottom of this Dragonfly. It says, Jason Matt? M-A-T? Maybe the rest of the name is off there. So if that's you, I've got your old Dragonfly. And I'm trying to take good care of it. Airborne can sit in the back too. I don't think he's going to be able to fit with his backpack on there because it's a tight squeeze even for a figure without a backpack. But let's see if we can feed him in behind Bill. It feels a little more roomy actually. The back seat's a little roomier, so it might be better, especially for the anniversary figures. If you want to fit the anniversary guys into this thing, if you want to use the seats, might be better to have Bill in the back. Now, if you do want to get anniversary guys in here, the seats actually come out really easily. There's just this little hook in the back there. Listen to that. Vintage plastic creaking. And this whole seat part comes out, and we can take an anniversary. While Bill just realized his guns are not the right way. Bill likes them backwards. Turn them around, and I'll just show you how bad it is if you keep the seat in there. There's no way an anniversary figure is going to fit in there, especially not this one with the bulky holsters and guns on his sides and the hat. Like, it's not going to work, and he doesn't even really fit in the back. Almost. Problem is that the holsters are hitting the sides there, so he won't sit flat. But luckily that seat assembly is completely removable, and if you're not too picky like myself, what you can do is grab another anniversary figure. I wonder if this one will actually fit even with the backpack. Stick Airborne back there. Still having trouble closing it even without the seats in there. Just to show you how tight a squeeze it is. Let's get rid of the backpack. Let's get rid of the gun. So the way I've been able to get them to fit is to just like have no seat, imaginary seat. It actually looks great. I think that looks fantastic. But if you're super picky, then it's just going to drive you nuts, just like everything else drives you nuts. But I think that looks fantastic if you want the anniversary guys in there. And they're really secure in there. It's surprising how secure they are. In fact, I think they're probably more secure than the vintage O-ring figures are in there with the seat. And a couple of the other features. We saw the gun earlier on. It's really cool. It's a double gun, and they look different. One looks like a Gatling gun. This one, is it a laser or a missile? I don't know. Molded on guns on the side there. Oh, I do have the stickers. Hardy and... Hey, it's Culbert. It's not Airborne's name. Here's that symbol, the Dragonfly. Custom insignia for this vehicle. And it's got a cannon on the side too, which doesn't really do anything. It looks like it's moving, but I think that's because it's coming off the pegs. It's cool that you can just take it off, just pop it right off, and then peg it into the bottom bar there and into the side. It's nice that it has this little this hosing attached to it. And look at that, the cannon actually spins. Pegs for figures to stand on either side, and it's fun to spin this. Why not have it going while doing this review? And some missiles on either side. It's got 4 of these, 2 on each side of the little thinner ones, and then the 2 of these bigger ones on either side, 1 on each side. And that might be glued on there. These big ones aren't coming off, so previous owner might have glued them on, or I might have glued them on because they were too loose. I'm not sure. And then some detailing on the back there. And in addition to it being an attack chopper, it's also a rescue chopper. So you can take Doc's stretcher, either the one that came with the new anniversary one, newer anniversary one, because the anniversary figures are pretty old now too, or the vintage Doc stretcher. And it's not going to be a very comfortable ride. It's going to be pretty bumpy and windy, but you can actually take this stretcher, take the little arms here that the figures can carry, and you can just feed a guy through here. So the thing that makes this work right here, this is a feature of the original stretcher as well as the new anniversary stretcher, is it had these little posts right here, which was for having the figure, I guess they're not very long, but to give a little clearance for the stuff that was on the other side of the stretcher. But because of these things, you can slide this on to the underside of the Dragonfly, and that's what'll stop this thing from sliding around, these little posts right here. It's not much, but it's enough. Put that under there, and yeah, I mean that's pretty it's a pretty hairy situation. If they're under fire, then whoever's injured under there is a sitting duck. The way I've got him in there, his head is right next to the gun. Maybe it's better to swing him the other way, feet towards the gun, like that, or even, I'm not sure if there's enough room back here. Yeah, actually, it is, but I mean, then there's the danger of the guy just sliding off the end there, but that's an option. It's a very precarious option, but that's kind of cool. The Doc's old stretcher is somewhat compatible with the original Dragonfly. So yeah, a couple play features, but I think for the most part, kids that had this thing just basically grabbed it from the back and flew it around. This was one you ran around and you flew around. Cool that it had some movable guns on it and some missiles, but I think for the most part, it was just that. If you had this as a kid and this busted, let me know in the comments below, because it seems to me like so many of them are broken. Every time I go to a toy show, I check and see, oh, is the little thing busted on it? Because this is in really, really beautiful shape, this particular one. It is shiny. It's quite immaculate, and the canopy, it's hard to find a canopy that isn't busted, and a canopy that's this clear. Like, this thing is crystal clear. So the fact that this is in such beautiful condition, doesn't look like it was barely played with, and the fact that that's busted on it, that might be a common thing with it. I'm sure quite a few people will say, no, mine's fine, mine's still working. But I'm just saying, in my experience, I've seen quite a few of them at toy shows that the trigger is busted on them. I'd rather have one in nice condition like this with a busted trigger than one that's all beat up and the trigger works, because honestly, this is more fun to just hit that instead of pulling the trigger. So there you go. That's the 1983 G.I. Joe Dragonfly assault helicopter with Wild Bill and co-starring special guest appearance by Airborne in the back. Thanks to Michael Choi for the request. Thanks to the whole Patreon tribe for supporting the channel over on patreon.com/MichaelMercy. And thank you to all the channel members too for hitting the join button and supporting the channel in that way as well. And thank you all out there for watching. Feel free to leave a comment below. And if you're not already one of the 100,000 who have joined the tribe, then hit subscribe. Good night, good luck, God bless, and Nerdma stay.